The Bosnian Genocide stands as a horrific chapter in late 20th century European history. It unfolded between 1992 and 1995, amidst the violent collapse of Yugoslavia. This period was marked by systematic ethnic cleansing, widespread mass atrocities, and the devastating Srebrenica massacre. This genocide serves as a stark reminder of the profound fragility of peace. It underscores the immense dangers inherent in unchecked hatred and nationalist fervor. The events in Bosnia challenge our understanding of human capacity for both cruelty and resilience. In the early 1990s, the Socialist Federal Republic of Yugoslavia began to fracture. Its constituent republics sought independence, leading to a series of brutal conflicts. Bosnia-Herzegovina, a uniquely multi-ethnic republic, declared its independence in March 1992. This declaration immediately triggered a violent conflict within Bosnia. The primary instigators were Bosnian Serb leaders, who vehemently opposed an independent, multi-ethnic state. They were significantly backed by Slobodan Milošević's regime in Serbia. Their overarching goal was to create a Greater Serbia. This ambition necessitated the ethnic cleansing of non-Serb populations from territories they claimed. The stage was set for a devastating war driven by ethno-nationalist ideologies. The war quickly devolved into a systematic campaign of ethnic cleansing. Bosniaks, primarily Muslims, and Croats were targeted for expulsion, imprisonment, and execution. This was not random violence but a calculated strategy. Civilians endured brutal treatment in a network of detention camps. These camps became sites of unimaginable suffering, torture, and summary executions. The dehumanization of victims was a central component of the perpetrators' strategy. Systematic mass rapes were perpetrated against Bosniak women and girls. These acts were not merely incidental but a deliberate weapon of war and ethnic cleansing. They aimed to terrorize, humiliate, and destroy the social fabric of communities. Beyond human lives, there was a deliberate destruction of cultural heritage. Mosques, churches, libraries, and historical monuments were systematically targeted. This aimed to erase the identity and history of the targeted groups. The capital city, Sarajevo, endured a prolonged siege, lasting nearly 4 years. Its citizens faced constant shelling, sniper fire, and deprivation. Sarajevo became a symbol of the war's brutality and the resilience of its people. Despite widespread news coverage and mounting evidence of atrocities, the initial international response was tragically inadequate. The world watched, often paralyzed by indecision and conflicting interests. This inaction had devastating consequences. An arms embargo was imposed on all former Yugoslav republics. While seemingly neutral, this disproportionately affected the Bosnian Muslims. They were left vulnerable and largely defenseless against a well-armed Bosnian Serb army. Safe areas were declared by the United Nations, including Srebrenica, Epir, and Garade. These zones were intended to protect civilians from attack. However, they proved tragically ineffective, lacking the necessary resources and political will for enforcement. The international community's failure to act decisively emboldened the perpetrators. The situation reached a horrifying breaking point in July 1995. The world's inaction culminated in one of the darkest chapters of the conflict. The fall of Srebrenica, a UN-protected enclave, occurred in July 1995. Despite the presence of Dutch peacekeepers, the town was overrun by Bosnian Serb forces. This event marked a catastrophic failure of international protection. In the days that followed, over 8,000 Bosniak men and boys were systematically murdered. They were separated from women and children, then executed in mass killings. This was a meticulously planned and executed act of genocide. The victims were buried in mass graves, many of which were later exhumed and reburied. The scale and systematic nature of the killings shocked the world. It represented the worst massacre in Europe since the end of World War II. Srebrenica became a chilling testament to the consequences of international indifference. It exposed the profound limitations of peacekeeping without robust enforcement. The massacre remains a permanent stain on the conscience of humanity. The international outrage following Srebrenica finally prompted more decisive action. NATO launched a series of airstrikes against Bosnian Serb military targets. This intervention significantly shifted the balance of power on the ground. A US brokered peace deal, the Dayton Agreement, was signed in December 1995. This agreement formally ended the war, establishing a complex political structure for Bosnia-Herzegovina. It brought a fragile peace, but also entrenched ethnic divisions. The pursuit of justice for the atrocities committed began. The International Criminal Tribunal for the former Yugoslavia, or ICTY, was established in The Hague. Its mandate was to prosecute those responsible for war crimes, crimes against humanity, and genocide. Key figures, including Bosnian Serb political leader Radovan Karadzic and military commander Ratko Mladic, were eventually apprehended. They were prosecuted for their roles in the genocide and other crimes. Their convictions affirmed the legal classification of the events as genocide. The ICTY's work was crucial in establishing a historical record of the atrocities. It provided a measure of accountability for the victims and their families. However, the path to full reconciliation and justice remains long and complex. The Bosnian Genocide's legacy extends far beyond the staggering death toll and physical destruction. It represents the devastating consequences of neighbors turning on each other. It highlights how quickly societies can descend into barbarity when fueled by ethnic hatred. Srebrenica stands as a poignant and enduring symbol of this tragedy. It is a stark reminder of the importance of vigilance against intolerance and discrimination. The lessons from Bosnia are critical for preventing future atrocities worldwide. The question of why the world failed to intervene effectively remains critical. It prompts deep reflection on the responsibilities of the international community. What are the obligations of nations in the face of widespread human rights violations? The genocide also underscores the dangers of historical revisionism and denial. Acknowledging the truth of what happened is essential for healing and reconciliation. Without truth, there can be no genuine peace or justice. The Bosnian Genocide serves as a powerful warning. It reminds us that never again is not a guarantee, but a constant, active commitment. We must learn from the past to prevent such horrors from ever being forgotten or repeated. Again and again. The Bosnian Genocide was not just about numbers, it was about neighbors turning on neighbors, about ordinary families wiped out because of who they were. Today, Srebrenica stands as a grave reminder of how fragile peace can be, and how hatred, when weaponized, can unleash the unthinkable. If you believe stories like this must never be forgotten, like, share, and subscribe to the Turkish Odyssey. Leave your thoughts in the comments. Why did the world allow genocide in Bosnia, just 50 years after the Holocaust? Are we stupid, slow learner? Or simply don't care? Thank you for watching. Peace on earth. See you in next adventure.